So we're starting off with our Yell My Breakfast app, but we've cleaned out pretty much everything inside it. Our GET request is only rendering a response that says home.ejs. And all we have to do to wire this up is get something going in the home, in the post route, and in our home.ejs file. Now we're going to turn this into a voting application. I just want to make sure we're going to be able to vote on things that are very important, like how much better California is than New York, what the best places to go to get pizza and bagels are, things that might be important. I agree with you on all of those things. So what we're going to do first is we are going to include a client-side script on our application to allow the user to log in with Firebase. Now, Firebase, if you've never heard of it, and I'm going to type right here in a paragraph tag that says log in with Firebase. Firebase is a cloud-based database that allows us to store and manage users, to keep track of data, and all in the cloud. It's managed by Google as well, so that we don't have to do a lot of the maintenance or upkeep on our users, which is really cool. So if you type into Google Firebase, like that, the first one that comes up will be https firebase.google.com. Click on that one. Now, Firebase is made of a number of different things, but you'll probably just want to click on Get Started. If you click on Get Started, it'll take you to the console. Well, you'll see here, I have already created a couple different projects in Firebase, but you should add your own project right now because you're going to create one. And you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call mine Node Firebase Intro, like this. You should call yours whatever you want. Now, there is so much you can do with Firebase. We're not going to get into everything. We're just going to go over a few basic sets of functionality that make it really easy to keep your app cool and on the cutting edge. So everyone should click Add a Project, name it whatever you want. It'll look like this. Add a project. I've reached the limit for my account. Dang. I'll get rid of one of them later. But just go through it. Which ones? Oh, yeah. Now I gotta get rid of that too. Okay, cool. Well, for the time being, add a project, and I'm gonna go into my Node Firebase, and it should look like this when you've created your project. You're gonna give it a name and all those other goodies. But once you're here, you're ready to go. And you can see that Firebase tells you right away, add Firebase to your iOS app, to your Android app, or to your web app. We're gonna be using the web app for the time being, but just before we do anything else, just do a little exploring. You can see here exactly what Firebase allows you to do. You can get detailed analytics on who's using your app and how they're using it. You can use authentication, which we're going to do. A database management system. It's a real-time database, so it updates instantly. You can do storage for like images, video, other cool stuff. You can host things, run cloud functions, crash reporting, etc., notifications, all this good stuff. I'm not going to get into most of this for now since we're only really going to use 2 of these services for the time being. But the first thing you want to do is just click Add Firebase to your web app. And the cool thing about Firebase is that Firebase is made for the client. So Firebase essentially does the server-side code for you so that you don't have to handle all of the security involved in authentication and authorization for your application. Instead, you can just grab this script tag right here. And I'm obviously going to go in and change all this information because I've made it public and you shouldn't see this. But you need to keep all of this private. So for the time being, copy all that, click copy, which also works. And then go into your application and in the head of your app, create a script tag. Now, the reason why we're loading it in the head of the application is because you want to make sure that Firebase loads before anything else loads. Firebase needs to be ready the second your app starts working. Oh, it already gave me a script tag, JK. JKLOL, exactly, live your life. So I'm going to, and you can tell I have some personal preferences on how I write my JavaScript. You don't have to get rid of your semicolons, but I like to because I don't like semicolons. And I'm going to change all these double quotes to single quotes because I'm a weirdo. And I just like to do it. And it makes me feel good. Look at that. Now I feel fantastic. So let's take a look at what we're doing here. What is the first thing that happens? Well, actually, let's look at this first script tag. What is this first script tag you think? What is this doing? Sure. Yeah, basically we're pulling all of Firebase's code in. This is basically its SDK. You can think of it like the developer kit. So we get access to all of these cool functions and methods that Firebase gives us. Then in the next script tag, what are we doing? It kind of gives it away with the comment, but what's happening here? We're initializing Firebase. So we start by creating this config object, which holds our API key, an auth domain, a database URL, a project ID, storage bucket, messaging, sender ID. And then in the next line, what do? We initialize the app. So you'll see this happening a lot all over your platform. Your storage bucket might be blank. That's okay. Don't worry. It doesn't really matter. We won't be using it for now. The cool thing about this is once you've initialized Firebase, we can now go in and do all the stuff that you might want to do. Before we do that, let's head back into the Firebase console and let's go to our project. And on the left, you'll see a tab called Authentication. Click on that one. This, and you see here, I already have some users. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these users. You shouldn't have any users in there. me@u.io, obviously that's not a real one. But the cool thing about this is you can manage all of your users very, very easily. me@them.us is not a real account, in case you're curious. Again, you can just delete users all you want. And it'll tell you, by the way, after you delete an account, it's permanently deleted. Accounts can't be undeleted. So usually it's a bad idea. Most of the time, people just disable accounts if you want. But you can do, like, you're the admin for this, so you can do anything to your application. You have complete control over users and authentication. I think that's just really, really cool. And if you want, you can just add users manually. Just come here and click Add User. Don't do that yet. Because I think a better way to do this is to go to the tab at the top that says Sign In Method. You see that? So Sign In Method spot. Click that. And it'll give you a number of sign-in providers. Now yours will most likely look like this. Boom. Yours should look like this, where you have no sign-in providers. You see this? And all of them should be disabled. Right now, we're only going to enable Google sign-in. Now, to be honest, if you've developed applications before, getting OAuth to work with Google is usually like a very long, arduous, annoying process. With Firebase, all you need to do is click Enable, and then click Save. Congratulations, you're already on your way to signing in users. Now down here in authorized domains, you probably don't have anything in there either. I'm going to get rid of all of these. You have a couple in there? Cool. I have 2 more, so I'm going to get rid of them so that we can get the same errors together and debug it together. Is that cool? The 2 that say default, you should have. Anything that says custom, you should not have. So now we're basically on the same page, right? Everyone's kind of looks like this. No users of this project, bless you, right? Perfect. So I'm gonna stop this video here, and in the next one, we're actually gonna get Google OAuth working in our app and start to get information about our users. Ready?